first things first, as a returning player from, let's say 1.0, when the cap was 50, you would have remembered farming Hazler, you would have remembered getting some GHA gear maybe, but mostly you would have remembered crafting Ethereum, and that would have been like your set for the most part. Some people might have had Delphinad, but for the most part you didn't get too far in the gear scores. Effectively, when that patch ended, we had the Aurora patch come out, and that was what opened up the library and Obsidian Gear, and that was something you would farm over here in Diamond Shores. You could enter in here, there was 3 floors, and it would take you a long time to grind Obsidian Gears past tier 3. Effectively, you needed to go into the library. And it was another blow up gear, repeat blow up gear, repeat blow up gear, repeat with regrading. Then 3.0 came out. Okay, the 3.0. So obviously with Aurora you had, so let's backtrack a step. In 2.0 with Aurora you've gotten Golden Ruins, which was another place you go and farm obsidian materials. You also have guild cloaks that you would farm Synthium shards around this area here in Diamond Shores. As well as you would have had Mistmerrow come in, Sungold, Carlands, Makali, yada yada yada, all these zones would have come in, and they used to have castles that guilds could capture, and there'd be sieges. That was a great patch. But you'd mostly find people farming out here for their obsidian in 2.0, so they could make a bit of gear and then blow it up and then repeat it. Anyway, it was just as painful as it was with Ethereum gear. So moving forward, we got to 3.0. 3.0 introduced the Warborn, which I am a Warborn. We also brought in more racial abilities. You've got your transform, which really isn't all that great, but it's there. And you've got your racial abilities, and for Warborn, I think the transform is primarily it, but there's also brute strength, which not many people use. And you've also got this new ability in recent patches that is Defiance. It's a very long cooldown, 30 minutes, but it'll get you out of CC for a second. And yeah, very useful, very useful in PvP. When you die, that resets, and you can use it again. But if you stay alive, the longer you stay alive, it'll slowly tick down from that 30-minute cooldown after you've used it. So these are things that, you know, skipping back and forth a little bit here, but yeah, this is the Warborn. Nothing really great about Ravager. It's good for you for like level 30 for a little bit, and then 33 it becomes useless, so don't really worry about Ravager. Dwarf have the same sort of thing. The Warborns start out in Sunblight Wilds, which was a new zone added below Archimeris. You can do 1 to 30 here, and then it will teleport you to Austera, where I am currently, and then you'll get a scroll to teleport to Ginnistir. And yeah, then you just commence going through the normal quest line. So that's the Warborn. They also added Rokhala Mountains, which is just a housing zone. Has some packs you can craft here at the community center. And yeah, that's pretty much the Warborn side of things. I'm an East character generally, and have been for a while, so I'm mostly going to highlight a lot of East here. But this is just for returning players generally to get an idea of what they've missed out on. You don't need to worry about Obsidian, that is no longer in the game, so for Unchained, Obsidian won't be there. You've got Abyssal Island, which is out here. There's Luces, like miniature Krakens that'll spawn up. You kill them, they'll drop Enoan ship design pieces. What's an Enoan, you say? That's like a bigger Galleon. You know, it's a double-decker Galleon, lets you move it up and has a, you know, very strong boat. And a lot of people will use those to kill the Delphinad ghost ships, which drop packs. They spawn down here and up here. So there's only 2 of them. There used to be 3 of them, but they took 1 out. Back to Sea of Graves, Abyssal Awakening. Once you kill the Luces, you'll be able to attack the tower here in the middle, and then craft some packs, and you take those to the Relic Trader on Friedrich, or to your towns. I don't know what the west side is, but for us, you take it to Ostera, and this one here as well. We have Sunken Mershes you can pull up, all up in the Sea of Diamond Shore. That's quite labour intensive, but that's only for the people raising the ships up and then breaking open the packs. And that's exploration, so the further you get your exploration up, the less labour you're going to use, you know, all that stuff is included there. So eventually the sunken ships don't cost you as much, but it still costs a bit. But when you turn in the pack itself, which you can do at Diamond Shores, there's an outlet here. I have a lot of stuff turned on my map, I'm sorry. There's a relic merchant that will take the same stuff. It will take your sunken treasure chests that you get off the sunken merchants when it raised to the surface, and it won't cost you any labor to turn them in, only costs you labor to surface the boat and unpack the packs. So that's sunken ships. They're very valuable, and let's just go through as much of the content as I can that is very important to you, what you need to worry about as a returning player. So what you need to worry about as a returning player is Eastern Hiram, but you won't get here until you're about 6, 7, 8k gear score at least, otherwise you're going to get absolutely annihilated in this zone. I'm not going to say don't try. If you've got a group of geared friends or like people that know what they're doing, you might be able to get these dailies done, or in a big raid when there's one going on in Nation. Definitely get in there, get involved. The quests are at each of the camps: Hall of Warriors, Black Forest Camp, Mighton Meadows, and Waterfall Camp, and they'll give you good infusions and scrolls. I'll get to those scrolls and those infusions in a minute. This is the most recent zone that's been added for Hiram Gear. The earlier zone for Hiram Gear was here, and you get 2 quests here and 1 quest down here. So this is the Illusion Cave, and this is the Hiram Cave. Hiram Cave give you green infusion pouches and the yellow scrolls, which are a step up. So you have one right here. So effectively what you would do is you use that on your tier 2 Hiram, and it will take it up to tier 3. As you fail, you will slowly get a bonus success chance, which gives it more of a chance to succeed the next time. It does cost a bit of labor, but that's all part of the story. So I don't have any basic Hiram scrolls, but you can get them farming in Western Hiram Mountains, and you can craft those into these, and then you can take 5 of these ones and craft them into one of these. Now these are for tier 3 going to tier 4, these are for tier 2 going to tier 3, and the blue ones are for tier 1 going for tier 2. Now, in order to farm Hiram Gear, you can farm it around the same place you farm your cloak shards from the Abyssal mobs, or you can go to Rokhala, which a lot of people prefer. There's a good farming spot up around here. This area of the map, I'll draw on the map here. So up around here, there's a nice spot to farm Abyssal mobs, and they'll give you a higher chance because there's more elites here to get your Hiram drops. If that's how you want to go in Unchained, it's up to you. But ideally you'll do your storyline quest and then evolve that into Hiram Gear. Now, continuing on, there is dailies in Reedwind as well that'll give you the same sort of stuff, more Hiram infusion and Hiram scrolls. There's daily in Sungold, Exalock, and Diamond Shores, as well as Western Hiram and Eastern. So those are all your dailies for Hiram that you want to do almost every day on Unchained. Aside from that, you've got Whalesong. Now when Whalesong goes to war, you'll be able to pick up these 3 quests from the Crimson Watch. Now depending on which faction you are, you'll go over here after there and you'll kill the mobs. They'll come in waves, you just got to defend the tower in the middle. And they'll come in waves and you just keep killing them, you kill them, and then Jakar will spawn up and you kill him, and you'll get a bit of honor, as well as materials to make acid goblets, or in this case, cursed armor pieces. Same sort of thing happens again over on Aegis. When Aegis goes to war, you grab your quest in the center and you go to your respective side of the island. So Eastern would go to the Eastern Seal, Western go to the Western Seal, and for the Eastern one you kill the mob in the middle, but you farm the outside mobs until you finish those quests that you got, and then you'll kill the mob in the middle at the very end. And then that will take you up to the center of this again, and you'll be able to craft some acid goblets there. Now, what are those used for? Those are used for making Erenor gear. So you'll definitely want to do that whenever you can. It also gives you honor, which is very valuable for getting gems, as the main gems in the game are from the honor shop. On the second page, these are your gems that you'll socket into your gear, 7,000 honor per gem. You can craft these up to tier 2 and tier 3 using handicrafting. It requires a lot of superior Glow Lunarite and sturdy ingots. What's superior Glow Lunarite, you ask? You get those from Rift bosses. Now I'm sure you remember killing Daruta the Watcher in Halcyona, as well as Well, he wouldn't have been Halcyona, he would have been like Dewstone back then, but now he's in Halcyona. So this is your community center. We'll get into community centers in a minute. But he spawns over here. So there's this boss, you kill him, it'll start a wave. It'll be 3 waves. You kill each boss, there's a chance to get a gold crate. You open those gold crates with gold keys. Those are craftable in handicrafting. But it uses exploration. So it's not actually a handicraft thing, it's an exploration thing. But you use a handicraft kiln to make them. Moving on. I'll show you each of the world boss locations for the rift bosses, so that you can get your gold crates whenever someone's advertising in Nation for raid bosses, rift bosses. Here's the Croak Fiend, and back here is Daruda. Down in Sanddeep you've got Zaldrain. She's up from the community center. You come up and you just go here. That's almost it. There's one more, I believe, which is from Bonefence Hutchment, sorry. You go up to Dragonheart, and it's right there. You'll farm the big lizard. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. And that's pretty much it for the east zone. I don't believe I missed one. Over here you've got Rookborn. You've got a world boss here, which is just from Cloistera. You come across to where the intersection is, and you'll find the big tree boss. Down in Windscour, you come over from the community center, and I'm not sure if it's here or further over. I think it's here. You've got the elephant boss. He'll start a rift once you kill him. Erenor, you've got the Axel leader. So you go from the community center again, and you head down this way, and he's like over here. And Hustler, they've turned Hanua into a rift boss. He's over here from the drill camp. You come up, you go to Hanua. Everyone should know where that is. That was in 5.0. Oh, sorry, 1.0. And yeah, I believe that's it for this. And in terms of gold crates, that's all of them for east and west for the rift bosses. Now, the biggest things that I noticed as a returning player that have changed that sort of made me a little unhappy was you no longer can run across the ocean to get your stabilizers. You can't get stabilizers by going over the ocean. You can't gilder, you can't get gold for going over the ocean. So now what do? You say, effectively, there's a boat that you'll get. There's a safe boat that people use, the alt boat, the safe boat, the gold boat, whatever you want to call it in the current game. You can buy a cargo from the cargo seller here for 26 gold and a captain's protection. You'll jump on the boat here. The boat's covered by a nui, which makes it a safe zone until it leaves the port. But if you've got a captain's protection on when you're on the boat, it'll make you invulnerable to other people, and it'll take you all the way to 2 crowns, and that's where you'll turn in your pack for Onyx at the other cargo merchant, which is just here. Now, in order to do that, you need to get the family quest, trade for goods. Make sure you collect that quest before you grab your cargo, and you'll get that from the cargo exchanger that I mentioned in Ostera, and he'll tell you to go over to 2 crowns. You jump on the boat and away you go. It's very valuable, very valuable resource, Archeum Onyx Essence. It's replaced your charcoal stabilizers and all that. So that's one way to make gold. Yeah, so that's something that's kind of died down the ocean around this area a little bit. People still fish, people still do sunken merches. There's plenty to do as a pirate, so don't be distraught. People make packs in Erenor and they try to run them, Windscout, all these PvP zones. They still make packs there. You can land pirate if you want to instead of sea pirate. It's just a little bit less enjoyable because you get a boat for the ocean, and it's like, what's this good for now? But you will still find fishermen, you will still find people bringing up sunken merches. It's a lot of fun. Alright, other things to note that have changed. PvP necklace. You used to remember farming warriors medals from Halcyona mostly, and you would have been like, oh, it took so long to craft it, it was so RNG, it would keep going down, it would go up sometimes. Now it's just a straight craft. So now if I were to search my necklace, so this is the one I have, all I need is the rank 9 one, 35 on a forged metals, 5 starlight Archeum Essence, and I can craft this straight up to rank 10. It's 100 labor, and away you go. So that's one good thing that's come about in the changes. Your cloak that you want to get will be dependent on the main stat your class is going. Sorry, I'm in the wrong tab. the main stat you want to go. So for me, I'm a healer, spirit's ideal for me. So I'm going through, I'm like, okay, this one says intelligence and cast time, don't need that. Arrow flash, attack speed 60, strength is the main stat, don't need that. Move speed 10 and agility, don't need that, alright. And then I'm like, oh, block and parry rate and stamina, that's not too bad for a healer. But this is the main one most people go, which is max health and spirit for a healer. So find your class, get to know your main stat, pick your cloak, and away you go. Same with the costumes, they're in here. They're upgraded with clear Synthium shards, which I have a handful of from doing dungeons. That's like the main place you'll find clear Synthium shards. Whalesong Summit, which is another dungeon that was added in like 2.0, 3.0. I won't go into how you go through that dungeon in this video, in this current moment. Essentially, you might want to look it up on YouTube, but it's pretty straightforward. I'm sure people will be able to help you out on Unchained if you really want to do it. But library is the main other thing you want to grind every day. Now you combine these clear Synthium shards and you can put them into your costume and regrade it up, and then re-roll the stats on your costume the same as you do your Hiram and everything else, and your cloak, and and you also get undergarments. You can get those from the arena, which are rewarded via curious badges. Sorry, I'm slowly navigating. Alright. So here we got you've also got migration scales. You're going to want those come Unchained. You're going to want to do the migration talisman packs. They require an Evenbard, which spawns during the night time in-game from 8 PM onward, and despawns during the daytime. Now you can find him around Unisteer. There are a few locations. I think one or two is here. Another one, we found him here, and we found him here. We found him over here. So he moves around a bit, but you'll find him. He's called Evenbard, so just make sure you're looking for that, and you'll find him. Now back over to the arena tab. You can get your undergarments in from here, which are very valuable. As you regrade those up, they get sockets of their own. And it's very, very, very valuable just for those sockets. Like I put more weight in the costume, in the undergarments than I do in the costume, because you'll get more stats and you get sockets. So that's my opinion, but others might be different. Let's move on. Other things you might not know about is the hero system. So the hero system is every month a bunch of heroes are elected based on people that are voting. You need 200 leadership to vote. How do I get leadership, you ask? You want to go to CR, GR, Halcyona, Red Dragon, any of those sorts of events will give you leadership. And yeah, once you've got 200, you can go and vote for the hero you want to see. And now, as a hero, these heroes will get missions. So Toza's done all of his missions this month. He's earned over 4,000 leadership or above. He's used his Mobilization Orders, 154 out of 100, I think. Don't know why it says that, but maybe he's done more. Maybe that's a minimum requirement and he's exceeded it. So he might get a higher reward for being a hero for this period. Now, what rewards do they get? They get a bit of gold. They get a hero gem, which can go in the headpiece. That's 300 toughness. They're probably the best. A lot of heroes turn around and sell them once they've done all their headpiece gems. They also get a cloak, which buffs the people around you from your faction. Some of them are might be 6% attack speed, might be 3% more toughness, but it also buffs the hero themselves with I think the Erenor hero gets a 10k toughness buff from their cloak when they're wearing it. So yeah, that's what a hero does. The heroes can do hero calls. There'll be a big window that'll pop up on your screen saying Mobilization Order. If you click confirm on that, it will teleport you to the Austera Hero Hall, which is located in here, where the Proven Warrior workbench is and the statue is. Now the statue gives you a buff. I'll head over there now. This is a really good buff to get. To build this, you need to buy cargo from the cargo merchant over to my right. So I'll just head here now. So this is the cargo seller, and there's the quest I was talking about. Iranian cargo, 26 gold. If I buy that, I can then head up here. Now, before I go up there though, the boat will pull in just here at the dock, and that's where it'll take you over to get your Archaeomonics. Heading up to the Hero Hall. In the Hero Hall, is your statue. So that's built because we've donated enough cargo to it as a faction. And here's Toes with the cloak. Gives him a cool little effect, gives him this buff, which is a lot better than I thought it was. So there are the stats for you to look at. Yeah. So over here we've got the statue, we can get this buff. It doesn't require any labor if you press F to it. And it gives me up in the top left, plus 10 or like all those stats, minus 6 received damage for ranged melee and magic, minus 5 production time, and plus 2,000 all proficiencies. Now if the buff was up, this needs to be activated by a hero, but if this buff was up, which it isn't currently, I would get a XP and drop rate buff, as well as PvE increased damage and decreased received PvE damage. So it's very good for when you're doing dungeons. Over here you've also got the agent of Amarendra, and you can respec with her. As a hero you can do a bit more, but she'll also offer, well, heroes can reset their hero board here, which will allow you to get more honor and stuff. You'll turn your Bluesalt Bonds in for honor to her. This starts off at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the higher it goes up, the more bonds you donate, the more money you'll get. Not money, sorry, honor. More honor you will get. They've opened up a lot of the PvP events by putting portals in here, like this will take me to Lusa Awakening, Abyssal Awakening, like I mentioned, up in the Sea Graves. That'll take me there. And I can take part in that PvP event, but you'll want to have Galleons and people to go with to fight the other factions and get yourself some crystals and turn them into the relic merchants, like I mentioned. This portal takes you to Mistmerrow. This usually an NPC that spawns in front of it, like this one. It'll give you quests to go and kill people in Mistmerrow. I didn't really mention Mistmerrow, but I'll get onto that now because I'm on the current topic of it. So Mistmerrow, there are towers on all of these locations. You got to go and destroy the towers, kill the mobs, and fight the other faction that comes to try and kill you while you do it. You'll get quests that will tell you to talk to people in there, and it will tell you to kill 100 Crimson Army, and that will slowly tick up and give you more and more honor as it does it. Once you've destroyed all the towers, and a winner of, whichever nation had the most points from destroying all the towers will be, the nation that wins it. Nonetheless, though, all nations can take part in killing Kadan, who spawns up at the bottom of the lake down here, where it says Crimson Altar. That'll give you a bit more honor, a bit more other stuff, and some good bonuses. It's worthwhile doing. Okay, so that's Mistmerrow. Alright, so I've explained heroes, I've explained cargo to you, I've explained Abyssal Awakening, Western Eastern Hiram, Reedwind, all the new zones in Aurora. I haven't really touched on the library. So the library is a really great dungeon. I am wearing currently a full library set, which is giving me all of these set bonuses. A lot of people don't usually get a full library set. They would go maybe 5 library and 2 Hiram, and they'll go the chest and the pants of Hiram, because you get more resilience and toughness in those 2 pieces. Yeah, so that's really how most people will do their gear. They'll either go half library, half Hiram, but they sort of look at the set bonuses and figure out how much of the set bonuses do I need, because it goes, 3, 5, and 7. You need 3 bits or 5, 7, so 3 bits or 5 bits or 7 bits to get certain buffs. So, as you start to run the library, you'll notice that. Library is something you probably don't really want to get into till you're 5 or 6k at least, maybe a bit higher. As a newcomer to the library, you definitely want to be a bit higher gear score, so let's say 7 or 8, because you need to know what you're doing to really survive in there. That first boss can be very strong. I won't talk about how to do the library. I'd prefer that people, go out and look up the videos on YouTube. There's plenty of content out there on how to do the library, or like videos you can watch people doing the library and sort of learn the boss mechanics via that. Yeah, going on. They've moved Halcyona to a PvP instance, which is called Faction War. So now you can queue it 2 times a day. I've done it for today, but it'll reset very soon, because daily resets very, very soon. Yeah, you can do this 2 times a day. It's open for an hour and a half, between 1:30 to 2:30. I guess that one's an hour window, but this other window here is 1600 to 1730, which is 4 PM till 5:30 PM. So yeah, that's your 1 hour and a half window there. But you do this, it gives you really good rewards. You'll get some infusion pouches or dungeon infusions. You get to pick. I'll see if I've got some on me. I do not. But you also get between 600 to 2,000 honor depending how your faction places in Halcyona. And that's per entry, so you could make up to 4,000 honor out of Halcyona if you win 2 of your entries. So here are the boxes it rewards you with. Now if I pull some of them out, you have the option, do I want to get Hiram infusion or do I want to get these? Dungeon infusions. You use those on your library gear. You also get those as drops in the library, where you can also get library gear that drops in the library, of course, killing the bosses. And there's library dailies that give you a little bit of gold, but you may want to hold on to the shards if you're looking to upgrade Whalesong Gear, because they'll be used for that. Now, continuing on, other things you may have missed out on would be they added this fishing area out here, which is, in my opinion, not even worth bothering going to, so don't worry about that. But you can get an icy fishing rod and go fish out there for some fish that sell for 1 or 2 gold a hit, but they're really not worth it, so that's, yeah, pretty neglected area. Yeah, let's just go on to where I started off before, where I said things you want to do every day. So things I tend to do every day as someone who returned and was trying to gear up quickly, and I've gone from 3.5k to 10.5k in about 3 to 4 months since I returned. Albeit I used a handful of alts to make gold because I didn't want to swipe to win. That's just that. Yeah. So things I do every day generally is I do library 3 times because that's your lockout. You can do library 3 times, but you can also get 2 scrolls and do it up to 5 times total. So your base gives you 3 entries, but you can do it 2 more times after that if you buy scrolls with gold. And then yeah, you see a max lockout is 5 times a day if you want to invest the gold. But you get 3 free entries in the library every day. So I do it 3 times. Just to get the infusers to continue upgrading my library gear. I also do Western and Eastern Hiram because I'm past the point where Reedwind and all those are very valuable to me. At a low gear score in Unchained, you're going to want to do as many of these as you can just to get your gear score up quicker. Another thing about Whalesong and Aegis, I don't do this every day, but it is valuable. You can go out there and farm the mobs. They give you great XP and you get Ancestral crates, which can drop you tempers. And tempers allow you to go +10, +X on my gear, you'll notice. Tempering improves the stats quite heavily. It's good on armor because it improves your defense. And it's good on weapons, it improves your attack, your DPS, your stats. So tempers are definitely valuable. Go farm Whalesong and Aegis to get Ancestral crates quite easier because they have a higher drop rate because they're higher level mobs, Ancestral 4, 5, 6. And you can get the elites out there you can kill and they have a higher drop rate. Another thing is they've made it so when the zone is in war, you will also get a higher drop rate on just anything and everything out there when a zone turns to war. So farming in war is very valuable. As risky as it is, it's worthwhile. Now Reedwind, they've added a boss called Thunderwing Titan. And in order to spawn him currently, you need to build your tower in order to go up and kill Thunderwing Titan, and you need a pair of wings that you craft from 50 glowing prisms at the workbench in the Reedwind camp. So that's something to think about. It's very good to kill Thunderwing Titan. He drops some really fantastic gems that will reduce your entire CC time by like 6%, I think it is, per gem. That's very strong. I don't know for sure, I don't have any of them personally, but they sell for about 20,000 gold, so what our faction does at the moment is we kill the world boss, and whoever was attending the raid can bid on whatever drops, and once that's done, the gold is split amongst all the people that attended the raid. So you definitely get your payback for your time invested with our faction on our server at the moment. I don't know if Unchained will run the same way for Thunderwing Titan, but that's just that. But they will be changing it in 6.0, which Unchained will be on, so that the nation with the most kills, I believe, or points, or hits a certain point cap first will spawn their tower, and they can go up and fight Thunderwing Titan. but we'll see what happens with that. For now, things like I said, every day. Hiram dailies, Exalox, Sun Gold, Diamond Shores, Reedwind, Western Hiram. You'll be able to do those no problem. Eastern's the hard one. You need about 7 or 8k minimum, like, or a raid like I mentioned, form up with a nation. Whenever you see that, go for it. And library every day, very valuable once you hit high enough gear score and have a good group to run it with. Do that. Farm your Abyssal crates, out at Aegis, out at Whalesong, get your tempers, temper your gear. Do Halcyona, because you need to get these gems. They're what's going to make you really strong. Take note that they only socket to certain spots. Lunar Charm's a bit of an interesting system. I'll explain a little bit of that just now. You've also got Mournstones before I get into Lunar Charms. Mournstones will let you grab as many Mournstones as you have socketed in gear per gem. So you'll get a Mournstone per gem as socketed into your piece of gear. You can remove the whole lot for 500 labor. It won't use 500 labor per gem, it just uses 500 to remove the whole lot, so long as you get as many Mournstones as you have in your piece of gear. So you see I've got 7 tier 3 resilience gems in my chest. So I would need 7 Mournstones, and then 500 labor would let me remove the lot. So that's how Mournstones work. Moving on to Lunar Charms. If you take a look here at my undergarments, I've got a different icon for my gems to my other gear. That's because those have been Lunar Charmed. I've Lunar Charmed those 3 times to get them from the 0.7% to 0.8 to 0.9. So as you tier up the Lunar Charm gems, they will slowly increase in stats. There's no chance of breaking them. Any of that stuff is all pretty much in the past. Now when you fail to upgrade a piece of gear, it might go crystallized. You can get Decrystalising Scrolls right here in the honor shop. They're 10,000 honor, and that'll restore the item to its normal grade, and you can continue trying to upgrade it a tier to tier 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. for Hiram and so on. It also does the same. It says what items it'll cover right there in the eligible item section. So yeah, if you crystallize anything, check that out, and away you go. Now, continuing on with the Lunar Charms. Lunar Charms can be crafted in the folio. So you got rank 2. So rank 2 requires 2 rank 1 charms and 3 superior glow to make 1 rank 2 charm. To make rank 3, you'd assume it keeps going up, as it does. So, just like that, that's how you do Lunar Charms. That is most of what I can think of off the top of my head. I'll reiterate one more time, because it's probably the 4th or 5th time I've said it in the video though. Do Western, do Reedwind, do Diamond Shores, do Sun Gold, do Exalox for Hiram Gear. Whalesong and Aegis give you your tempers from Ancestral crates. Halcyona is going to give you your honor. Red Dragon gives you honor as well. If you've got the time, do arenas. They'll give you curios badges to get your undergarments, your stat migration going. And that's really it. Those are the things I try to do every day, and the Onyx Boat, of course, because that's, you know, gold. You need gold to do regrading and gemming and all that stuff. Synthesizing, rather. To synthesize, you come down to the bottom left here, there's a gear upgrade section. You grab the piece of gear you want to do. For example, here's my chest piece. You can put in however many bits of synthesis you want to chuck into it, and it'll upgrade the XP on the item. And it'll cost labor and gold. And to replace effects, you go to the same window, but you will put it in there, and it'll tell you how many change attempts you have. And as you start to upgrade your Hiram set and stuff, you will get more change attempts each time it goes up a bit of grade. Now, when I say grade, I mean I mean your basic, grand, rare, arcane, heroic, unique, celestial, divine, epic, legendary, mythic, eternal. So every time you go up a grade there, you'll gain a reset attempt. So, things to think about. Aside from that, the trade pack system has changed. This is an actual big thing you need to know. So if I was to make, let's say, Solace Luxury Specialty, okay? I need these mats. Doesn't matter too much. We know, go to the community center, which They're the main hubs in each zone, and you make it from the pack vendor like you used to. But this is the bit that you're looking at and wondering, what is all this? What does this mean? So now, as you make packs, the moment you make a pack, they will start to lose a percentage of their profit over time. So you should not store these packs on land. They will lose their profit. By the time you get to turn them in, you might not get anything near what you thought you were going to get in gold. So your profit degrades, I think, 12 minutes. Every 12 minutes it degrades, like 5%. So you want to be quick about crafting your packs, getting them turned in at a trade outlet. Now the trade outlets are literally where you would make your cargo. There's one here in Ostera, so just down here where I'm running. There is a trade outlet, and you turn them into the specialty buyer right here. There's one in Villanelle, which is in Whalesong Harbour, right by where the fish stand is. There's one in Unisteer, and that's it. For our faction, that's it. Sorry, I'm looking in the wrong spot. Villanelle's over here outside Unisteer's over here outside the town. There's a trade outlet there that you can turn in specialty goods to. You can't go across the other continents anymore, but you can run up to Freeditch to get dragon essence stabilizers. Now those are needed to make galleons and some boats like that, so it's something you really need to get on top of and look into before you go to make a galleon. You will need to take cargo up here to turn those in. You can't take specialty over there to turn it in. It needs to be cargo to get dragon essence. You can also take cargo up to Diamond Shores trade outlet at the dock, and that will give you maybe a little bit more if you're lucky, but there's still percentages. Okay, now I'll talk about percentages. Aside from the pack percentage going down over time, you have the turn-in percentages. Now this guy's turned in a couple packs just now, and I'm thinking it was this Fine Maha Devi stuff. There's been 6 turned in, and it's at 129%. When this is at 130, you're getting maximum profit. And if you get your pack here in good time, you'll also get that extra bit of profit on top. So, yeah, that's how the packs work now in this system. I hope I've explained that good enough for people. It was confusing as hell when I came back. I made larders, I put them on my land, and turned them in for about 20 gold when they should have been 35 or something, and it broke my heart. But yeah, have a little bit of a look into that stuff before you go trade running for Unchained. I think that is everything that I can think of off the top of my head. There's a lot. So I returned about 3-4 months ago, and I was still learning stuff. There is still one more thing. Bluesalt Bonds. You can make those at your community centers. You turn in lumber, fabric, iron, leather. You need 20 of each. You turn them in, there'll be Bluesalt Bonds. It goes 20, 60, and 100. If you look around, you'll find the ones that are cheaper than others. They'll say 20 for a Bluesalt Bond. You know, you just got to look around at every single zone's community center. There's Bluesalt Bonds to turn in, and there's a quest that you can get from the notice board there to turn into the NPC beside it, and they'll give you Bluesalt Bonds. Those are used to get Aeonad gear from the vendor up in the hero hall, but he only spawns between a set period of time, and I don't know exactly what time that is. But if you look into it or ask some people, then they should certainly be able to tell you. You've also got your login badges, merit badges, you might remember, no longer a thing, and warriors medals are no longer a thing. So nothing you need to worry about there. These are my Curios tokens and my Gilda Stars. They're your main currencies for things. What else? So this guy over here is where you'll be looking to talk to for Bluesalt Bonds. You'll need some sturdy ingots to go along with your Bluesalt Bonds to get the Aeonad gear. You'll need to look into it. But yeah, at the moment he can give you Delphinad gear, which you could craft up if you wanted to. So that is effectively Bluesalt Bonds. There's also Manastorm Crystals. These come from events that go on every now and then. They'll give you Manastorm Crystals, which you can turn in to make mounts and gliders and battle pets that are very useful. A lot of people like to get the rocket wings because you can launch yourself at an enemy and stun them. and you don't need to like click on the ground or anything. It'll just, as long as you got a target, you use the ability, you get launched to them, stuns them. Can stun AoE as well, so very, very strong. The mount that most people like to get with Manastorm is the Stormwraith Kieran. Very fast mount, has a good leap. I can show it off right now. It's the mount that I like to use. So it's also got a stealth detect. It's got overrun, which launches you at a target and stuns them for a quick second. And it's got a bite, which leaves a bleed on people. And yeah, this is its leap, which a lot of people like to use to get around all sorts of places. I'll show that off right now, how far the leap can honestly go. So that's a leap, and it stealths you for a second, which is, you know, good to help you get away. And yeah, that's the Stormwraith Kieran. It's a popular mount. Have a look through the Manastorm section and you'll be able to find all of the things that you can make with Manastorm. You make that in Mirage Island. There's a vendor on the left at the Manastorm Fountain. And yeah, that's where you go in. That's where you do it. Be able to craft all sorts of stuff. But you only get so much from the events, so it takes a bit of time to get to the amount you're going to need. But every time there's an event, you'll start to get some Manastorm. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that I can think of off the top of my head that you want to look into as a new player coming back from retail, or as a new player yourself. It's very sort of skimming over the facts as best as I could. There's a lot to cover. If I've forgotten anything, I'm sure someone will mention it in the comments or so on. But I hope this has been informative for you, and I hope it's helped. Yeah, but hope to see you all on Unchained. I'm going to be playing on Tyrannos East. I'll be in Belamy's guild. And yeah, hope to see you all there. Check it out, PvP. We'll see you guys until next time.